Do you have any questions about anything that I just talked about? Anything that came up and a question popped into your head? Feel free to throw a comment in there, and we will do our best to get back to you on that. That's part of what we do is we like to interact with our audience and see what you're saying and what you're thinking, and then kind of have a dialect with you. There's a couple of reasons for that. I mean, the first is the obvious one where he's not. He's just not. He's not sexually attracted to you. I think everybody has their own quirks and their own things that they're sexually attracted to. So if that's not the reason, and he's either scared of intimacy on that level, meaning like he's just scared of, or he's just scared of sex, and he's intimidated by you, which there's ways to get around that we could probably go over. And then the other one is he is scared of the level of intimacy, meaning that he really likes you. And there's this fear thing that happens with some men that they're afraid to jump to that next level of sex. And you might have actually already had sex, but like there's a different kind of sex where it's like love making. And that's a really scary place for men sometimes, because we know inside of ourselves that we are making a decision to be in a relationship with this person and give a lot of ourselves. And that's a fearful thing that happens with men sometimes. A lot of times and there's comparing that happens too. So comparing one man to another, and been like, oh, he was super open sexually and he was free and whatever. Yeah, but you're not with him anymore. So there was something there that he was able to, he maybe just didn't have that issue, or he wasn't emotionally invested in you. And that's why it's easier to just be free and open that quickly in a relationship, or that quickly with somebody. It's because if you just want to have sex, and there's no emotional ties to it, it's a lot easier just to be open and super sexual. But if there's emotional attachment to it, sometimes it's harder. Sometimes it's harder to because you're really opening up part of yourself. Sex is super vulnerable when done right. It is an extremely vulnerable place. It's not just physical, it's emotional on many, many, many levels. And for a man to open up like that emotionally, think about how many men you know and how fucking emotional they are. We're not the most emotional creatures. And in a sexual relationship, emotional encounter, where we are really opening up and giving ourselves, and we are really being vulnerable emotionally, that's a new, dangerous, scary place for a lot of men. So it's not that, in this scenario, it's not that he's not sexually attracted to you. He might be really sexually attracted to you, but it's not translating through his emotions yet, and it takes time. So the way that you kind of work through that is no pressure. Don't put any pressure on him. And then it comes up too, where in that heightened place, some guys might have they might have some performance anxiety in that place as well, where they don't get an erection. That will happen sometimes. And I've heard women, explain to me about that scenario where they think it's their fault, and that it's me and I'm not beautiful and it was all me. And I always have to kind of say, like, it doesn't seem like it has anything to do with you, right? And it probably doesn't, and it most likely doesn't have anything to do with you. It's just the fact that his emotional sexual place, and they aren't connected. His emotions and his sex drive, they're not connected yet, because he's not he's not comfortable enough to do that. And he's not comfortable enough to open himself up that way. But the fact that he's putting himself in that super vulnerable place shows you that he wants to. And that, to me, that's, if a woman saw that and experienced that, oh, you just walk away from that with, like, not feeling bad about it at all, but feeling super happy about the situation, that you found that this man was trying his best to open up to you emotionally and have emotional sex with you. Holy shit. Emotional sex is fucking amazing. And for a man to want to do that with you, oh my God, it's fucking awesome. And the fact that maybe he couldn't, or he's not, he's not ready, don't worry about it. It's coming. Like, it's totally coming. So the whole goal on that is to just be patient with him and make him as comfortable as possible. And this isn't feeding and teaching him how to be a man. This is allowing him to grow emotionally, which you might be better at. And you might be able to teach him how to do that. There are specific things that women, there's certain things that women teach men. And in my experience, women have taught me how to be more in touch with my emotions. And that is a gift that I've been given, and I cherish that gift. And it doesn't mean that he's not sexually attracted to you. It's not what that means. Now, there is other reasons where, like I said earlier, maybe he's not. But this all depends on a lot of different factors, whether, how long you guys have been together, how he's been treating you throughout this period of time, how close he's been to you. There's a lot of different factors that go into that, but that's one of the biggest things when you're in a relationship and you're kind of in the beginning of the sex, right? And then you're like, well, I don't know if he's sexually attracted to me because he had a performance anxiety, or he's not coming on to me, or he's not pushing he's not trying to have sex with me. The scenario or the reason that I just brought up is usually, in my experience, the reason. The third reason would be that he has had his sexual fill with you. He's had enough. He's had enough sex with you, and he's sexually ready to move on. The fact that he's not still sexually attracted to you doesn't mean that he wasn't sexually attracted to you, but now he's ready to move on. This is a difficult situation because you might still be sexually attracted to him, and if you're asking this question, then you probably are. In this scenario, depending upon how long you've been together, if you've been together for a long time and now this happens, where he has opened up to you sexually, and emotionally, you guys have been having sex for a long time and now he just seems uninterested. There are definitely techniques and things like that. If you've been together for years upon years and he starts to feel like he's not sexually attracted to you, there are ways to try and trigger that. Go somewhere else. Generally, it's just mostly Google stuff. You can do that. If you've been together for a couple weeks and now he seems not interested in you, let that son of a bitch go. There's another guy out there, I promise.